I went to Brazil's cheapest supermarket, and it's called Atacadão. So this is one of the biggest chains of supermarkets in Brazil, and I'll say it's kind of similar to Costco in terms of being able to buy things in bulk at a discount. And the one I went to is in Porto Alegre, and it was my first time at the supermarket, so let's have a look. And this is the entrance to the supermarket, so you can see it's pretty big, quite a simple layout, looks a bit like a warehouse. Yeah, a bit like Costco, I guess. And walking through the entrance, you've always got these employees sitting here. I'm not sure what they are, if they're security or not. They always put a few products on promotion. Here they've got a 43-inch smart TV, which is 1,399 reais, which is $254, which is a reasonable price, I think. But I think you can still find it cheaper online. And then some other products on promotion here on various pallets. And then the first aisle you come to is the drinks aisle. So you've got all the alcoholic drinks here, which are a bit unusual, I think. Usually you don't have the beer and wine aisle being the first aisle you get to when you enter a supermarket. But let's have a look at some prices for the drinks. Okay, so here they've got a pallet of bottles of vodka, Smirnoff vodka. And each bottle is 42 reais, which is $7.80. Which is cheap if you compare it to Sweden and the UK and some other countries in Europe. By comparing it to other supermarkets here in Brazil, you can actually find it cheaper in other supermarkets. But let's have a look at some other things. So here you've got lots of cans of beers. You've got Budweiser. And so one can is 5 reais 29, which is 96 cents. But in order to get that price, you need to buy a whole pack of 12 cans. Which is a reasonable price, but you can pay more or less the same in Sweden and the US. And then here in Brazil, I can actually find it cheaper in other stores. So it seems like when it comes to alcohol, maybe Atacadão isn't the cheapest. But then there are other brands of beer which are cheaper. So you've got Spaten here, which is 4 reais 99, which is 91 cents. And then you've got another brand here, Shin, which is even cheaper at 3 reais 49, which is 63 cents. Now you're getting pretty cheap. But I also say that, in my opinion, the taste and the quality as well is a bit lower for these beers. And then the next aisle up ahead here is just more soft drinks, beer, and various drinks. But in the aisle to the left here, you've got mineral water and juices. So let's have a look at that. I just need to watch out for all these forklifts around here. So yeah, this really does feel like more of a warehouse than a supermarket. So this whole aisle here is just juice and water. And you know you're in the south of Brazil when you've got so many bottles of grape juice, which you can see here to the right. So here in the south of Brazil, they produce a lot of grapes. People love to drink grape juice. And a carton of grape juice is 15 reais 90, which is $2.89. So that's a good price compared to other supermarkets in the area. And then on the left here, you've got still mineral water, so 5 liters for 4 reais 80, which is 88 cents. Again, this is a good price as well. So yeah, now I'm starting to see why people call this the cheapest supermarket. Obviously, you need to buy in bulk in order to get these prices. You can see how much mineral water and juice they have here. So this is something that Brazilians buy a lot. So a lot of people, they don't drink the tap water, so they buy the water that they drink. I mean, I just filter my tap water and drink it. So now we're arriving at the rice section, but before that they've got a promotion here on coffee. So this is 500 grams of roasted and ground coffee, and that is 35 reais 50, which is $6.45. And coffee prices have gone up a lot recently in Brazil. I think they have around the world, and this is quite a good price. But I actually can find this brand for a bit cheaper in a few other supermarkets. And then behind these coffee boxes is the rice section. And this is massive, so you can see it stretches down there and then also here to the right. So that is a lot of rice, and that's because Brazilians eat a lot of rice. So you've got big bags of rice here, so let's have a look at the price of some of these. So here we've got a bag of plain white rice, 5 kilograms, and that is 16 reais 95, which is $3.08. So that's a lot of rice for your money. And I find this brand of rice quite funny. It's called namorado, which means boyfriend. So yeah, so you're buying 5 kilograms of boyfriend rice here. And we walk down here, all the stuff on the right here is just rice. And then after rice, the next thing that comes up is beans, especially black beans. And that's because Brazilians love to eat rice and beans. So let's have a look and see how much a bag of beans costs. This here is a 1 kilogram of black beans, and it costs 3 reais 99, which is 72 cents. And that is pretty cheap when you compare it to other supermarkets. A bit further along you got flour, so let's have a look how much that costs. So here's a bag of all-purpose white flour, 1 kilogram, and that is 3 reais 79, which is 69 cents, which is also pretty cheap. And one thing to note is that on these price labels, you've actually got two prices. So the price on the right is if you buy 1 unit, and the price on the left is if you buy in bulk. So if you buy 10 bags of flour, then you get this lower price of 3 reais 79. And if you're very serious about baking, there is a 25 kilogram bag of flour as well, and that is 63 reais 90, which is $11.60. So I guess small businesses like bakeries buy these bags. And now we're arriving at the meat section, but before that we've got some big buckets here. Let's see what these are. So this is 15 liters of cottonseed oil, which you use for frying, so French fries and various other things. And the price is 185 reais, which is $33. I mean, I've never used cottonseed oil to cook, but I do see it in quite a few restaurants. So that's quite a good price if you do a lot of deep frying. I try and avoid eating too much fried food. And then you've got some big freezers here to the right, so here you've got frozen French fries and other frozen meats. And then to the left here you can see you've got loads more freezers. But let's have a look at the fresh meat first, and then we'll look at the frozen meat. And then to the right here you've got lots of hot dogs and bacon and everything. And that is one big piece of bacon, that's for sure. Let's see how much that costs. So that's 6 kilograms of bacon for 240 reais. It's $43. So that's a lot of money for bacon, but I guess you get a lot. I have no idea whether that is cheap or not. But let's have a look at the fresh meat. And they have my favorite, which is chicken heart. So let's see how much that costs. So 600 grams of chicken heart is 24 reais 90, which is $4.50. Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of chicken hearts, so I definitely won't be buying that. But then next to it, you've got minced beef here, so let's have a look at how much that costs. So you've got 500 grams of minced steak beef here, which is 17 reais 44, which is $3.17. So that's a reasonable price for minced beef, that's for sure. And then beyond that, you've got butcher's counters with even more cuts of beef. But in general, the fresh meat section here is pretty small compared to some of the other supermarkets that I go to. But then you have lots of frozen meat on the other side, so let's have a look at that. So all these freezers just full of frozen meat. This guy seems a bit frustrated, doesn't seem like he's finding what he wants. So let's have a look, search for the most popular cut of beef that they use for barbecuing, which is picanha, which is the top sirloin rump cap. And that's here, and let's have a look at the price of that. So 1 kilogram of the top sirloin rump cap, which is 89 reais 90, which is $16.38. And that's quite a reasonable price. In the other supermarkets I go to, usually they cost more than 100 reais. But then there are other cuts of meat as well, which they use in barbecue. So this one here is the bottom sirloin, which is called maminha in Portuguese. And that is 59 reais 90. So that is $10.90 for 1 kilogram. And on the other side, you got lots of frozen chicken. So let's have a look at that. So you got frozen chicken thighs and drumsticks, 1 kilogram for 15 reais 90. So that is $2.90. A bit further along, you got frozen chicken breasts, 800 grams, and that is 19 reais 90, which is $3.63. So again, these are good prices. And then one thing you find in Brazilian supermarkets, we definitely don't find in Swedish supermarkets, is frozen acai. So these are small acai berries that they process, and they add a bit of sugar or sweetener and some other things, and it tastes very good. You can see they've got lots of different varieties here. And a pot of 1.5 liter acai here is 33 reais 91, which is $6.18. On the other side, you've got lots of ready meals. You've got chicken nuggets here, and 300 grams of chicken nuggets is 8 reais 90, which is $1.62. And then you've got lasagna ready meals, 600 grams, and that is 12 reais, which is $2.20. And then finally, frozen pizzas as well. So you've got a Neapolitan pizza, 14 reais 91, so that is $2.72. They even have a pizza called Brazilian, let's see what's in that. Cheese, ham, and requeijão, which is this kind of cream cheese that Brazilians love. All of these ready meals, so the chicken nuggets and the lasagna and the pizza, are a pretty good price. I pay more in my local supermarket. And let's have a look at the fruit and vegetables. And actually this part of the supermarket looks a bit nicer, it looks more like a supermarket. So we've got onions, and 1 kilogram is 2 reais 99, which is 55 cents. We then have tangerines, 1 kilogram is 3 reais 99, which is 72 cents. And then bananas, 1 kilogram is 4 reais 99, which is 91 cents. And also potatoes, 1 kilogram is 3 reais 29, which is 60 cents. And again, these prices are a bit cheaper than the local supermarket I go to. And then we've got a little cafe and bakery inside the store as well, didn't know they had that. And here's some eggs as well, so let's see the price of that. So that is 20 eggs for 14 reais 90, which is $2.70. That's a good price. And comparing to Sweden as well, it's definitely cheaper. I mean, there's no way I can get 20 eggs in Sweden for $2.70. And let's go and have a look at a few more things. So you've got breakfast cereals. So you can see it's not a big range, just a small shelf. So it's a lot less than in Sweden and the US, that's for sure. And price-wise, so let's choose sucrillos here, which is Frosties. So a box of Frosties costs 22 reais 90. So that is $4.19. And then next to it, you've got milk. So here in Brazil, most milk that you buy are in cartons, and they're just on the shelf like this. They don't have to be in the fridge. So a carton of whole milk, 1 liter, is 4 reais 69, which is 85 cents. And again, that's a good price compared to other Brazilian supermarkets, and also definitely a lot cheaper than the milk that you buy in Sweden. Although personally, I do prefer fresh milk that's stored in a fridge rather than this milk in a carton. And if we look at cleaning supplies, so all these bottles here to the left are different brands of bleach, and Brazilians use bleach a lot to clean their homes. I actually have a joke that the only thing that I need to buy for our cleaner to clean the house is bleach, and she can clean the whole house just with bleach. And a 5 liter bottle of bleach is 14 reais 90, which is $2.70. In the next aisle is even more cleaning supplies. So here I think it's washing detergent or laundry detergent here. And then for some reason they've got a car here in the supermarket, which I don't think you can buy. I think you can win it, I think, if you buy this laundry detergent. But you can buy a bike here on the right. Let's have a look how much a bike costs. So you've got a kid's bike here, but let's have a look at the adult bikes. So that is 1,299 reais for a mountain bike, which is $236. It's a reasonable price, but I think you can get it cheaper on the internet. I mean, it all depends on the quality of bike. I don't know how good this bike is. And then next to the bike is a big shelf of Flipflops, which I think all supermarkets sell. And the big brand is Havaianas. So a pair of Havaianas is 17 reais 90, which is $3.30. But you do have to buy 2 pairs to get it at this price. And then one final thing, which I think all supermarkets sell, are cooler boxes. Because Brazilians love to take these to the beach. So they put their drinks in there, the beer and juices and stuff. And then fill up with ice and then take it to the beach. And then we've got cold drinks at the beach. And they're selling the cooler box here for 74 reais 99, which is $13.66. So that's pretty good as well. And on the other side here, they've got some electronics as well. So let's have a look at those. So they've got a fan for 229 reais, which is $42, and then they've got an air fryer, which is 289 reais, which is $53. So I would say the electronics, so the TV we saw earlier, and then here the fan and the air fryer. In general, you can find these products cheaper on the internet. And then another thing is that electronics here in Brazil, in general, are quite expensive compared to Sweden and the UK and the US. Yeah, so when it comes to these things, in general, actually, you pay more here in Brazil compared to these other countries. And next aisle here, you've got lots and lots of creams. So first of all, you've got creme de leche, which is just normal double cream. And after that, you've got something called leite condensado. This is a cream which is very sweet. And they use this to make various sweets and stuff, especially one called brigadeiro, which is this little round ball. So you can see they've got lots of brands of this. And then in terms of the price of this, let's have a look. So this little carton here is 5 reais 39, which is 98 cents, which is more or less the same price in other supermarkets. And on the other side, you have lots and lots of powdered milk. And again, this is very popular in Brazil. Obviously, mums buy a lot for their babies and the kids. But also adults use it a lot. They use it in baking, and then they also use it in their coffee and make drinks as well. And the most famous one is Ninho, Nestlé Ninho. So a bag of Nestlé Ninho is 56 reais, which is $10. That's quite a lot for powdered milk. But they have much cheaper ones as well. So you've got one here which is CCGL, another brand. And and that is 16 reais for a bag of powdered milk. I guess, well, the bag's smaller, but also I assume the quality's not as good. And then now we're in the coffee and teas aisle. So what you can see here is got lots of coffees, but not that much tea. So I mean, definitely the favorite drink for Brazilians is coffee. I mean, many drink tea, but it's definitely not as popular. Yeah, but we've already looked at the price of coffee. But one thing that is popular here in the south of Brazil is chimarrão, which is yerba mate. So you can see here they've got various big bags of yerba mate here. So you've got one brand here called Chimango, and the price of that is 11.79, which is $2.15 for a 1 kilogram bag. And so that's pretty cheap actually. And here we've got lots of hot chocolate or hot cocoa powder. The big brand is Nescau, and a pot of that is 10.99, which is $2. So yeah, the yerba mate and the hot chocolates here, they're pretty good price compared to other Brazilian supermarkets. And then here's the snacks aisle. So here we've got chocolates and crisps. So let's see how much a bar of chocolate is. So here you've got an 80 gram bar of chocolate. So that's 6.25, which is $1.14. But then next to you've got even cheaper here. So you've got Hershey right here. So that's 4.13. So that's 75 cents for a bar of chocolate. That's pretty cheap. And then another chocolate snack that Brazilians love a lot are bonbons. So you've got this brand here, Amor Carioca. So bonbons are these chocolate balls with a soft filling. And the price of this bag is 58.99, which is $10.75. And then further along you've got lots of crisps. So one thing, they have a lot of these really thin potato crisps. They're called batata palha, and they actually eat these crisps with other foods. So if they do stroganoff, they usually have these crisps as well. And also they put it on top of hot dogs as well. So they don't really eat this kind of just on its own. They usually combine it with other foods. And a bag of this is 7.89, which is $1.44. But then they have normal crisps as well, the big brand being Lay's. So 115 gram of normal crisps is 13 reais, which is $2.38. And then I've also got Doritos here. So 300 gram of Doritos is 17.99, which is $3.28. So again, these are pretty good prices. And let's have a look at the checkouts. And it's pretty calm at the moment. I mean, the time is around 11 o'clock, so I did this on purpose, not to have lots and lots of people in the store. But I mean, if you go in the evenings or the weekends, you can have some massive queues at the checkout. But they have recently put in a few self-checkouts, which is good, because if you just come in here to buy a couple of things, then you don't want to be queuing for half an hour with people in front of you having bought, 2 trolleys worth of products, because that can be very annoying. I mean, the only thing I bought today is a massive bag of toilet paper, so I'm just going to go to the self-checkout and pay for that. Okay, so that was my lovely trip to Atacadão. I mean, what I would say is definitely you got some cheap prices here if you're willing to buy in bulk. Then a lot of things are cheaper here than other supermarkets. But I'm not sure if I'm going to come back here on a regular basis, because it's just me, my wife and my daughter. So I can't really buy lots of things in bulk, because that's just going to last forever and it's probably going to expire before we've eaten it all. And also, not everything is cheap here. You saw the alcohol, the electronics and a couple other things. You can definitely find those cheaper online or in other stores. But the basic items like fruit, vegetables, rice, beans, pasta, the prices here are pretty cheap. So I'll probably come back in a year's time once I've used all of this toilet paper and I need to buy some more. So I hope you like this video. Please leave a like, subscribe. If you've got any questions or anything, leave in the commentary below. So thanks for watching. Until next time.